This is how Gemini 3 is playing chess against Claude Opus 4.5, and the result of this game will extremely surprise you. I created this entire 3D chess game using Gemini 3 so I could put these models head to head, compete with each other to see which one has much more advanced reasoning capabilities. In this video I'm going to show you how I created this app and also get into the very different insights that I got from this very different benchmarking idea to see how these models works in action when they're competing through their power of advanced reasoning. Let's check it out. Claude Opus 4.5 is out, and as of the time that I'm recording this video, this is sort of the best model, and they're saying that potentially the best model in the market. Well, just before Opus 4.5, we had Gemini 3 coming out, and you can see that in the initial insights and benchmark, the accuracy of Opus 4.5 in software engineering tasks is sort of better than Gemini 3 Pro either. But you might see that this difference is significant based on the charts, but if you check out the percentage because of the scale, it's not that much. There's 4% different. But let me get into the more details of the metrics before we get into that chess game. When I checked out the metrics further, I realized that Opus 4.5 is saying that it's almost better on majority of the metrics compared to the best one before that, which is Gemini 3 Pro, namely in agentic coding it's better, in agentic terminal coding, and you can say it's better, but it's still very close, like 76% compared to 80, just 3% different. But there are mainly 2 or 3 different tasks or metrics that Gemini 3 Pro is better than Opus. The first one is graduate level reasoning. Opus is around 87% compared to Gemini 3, which is 91.9%. And if you are thinking about these metrics as you're watching the video and saying, it's not really tangible for me, 2 or 3% difference in graduate level reasoning, show me something tangible that I can truly understand the difference. Metrics are fine. They're great benchmarks that we can get to know which model is better on what. But for me, always, these numbers really meant nothing unless you show me in action the difference. That's how I ended up with having the idea of creating a 3D chess game. So these two, Gemini 3 and Opus, can play against each other. And we can see in action and live their advanced reasoning capabilities to see which one's reasoning is better and can win over the other one. And if you have seen other video I created already, then you might have already seen this 3D chess game I created in previous video that I played Gemini 3 against GPT 5.1 and Claude Opus 4.5, really winning over each other and see which one gonna have the most advanced reasoning. If you know who was the winner and very shocking results that I got from the previous video, check that out. The video is video description below, and also I will add it to the top right of the screen. I had a dedicated video about how I created this 3D chess game and also how this model performed in front of each other. And as soon as Opus 4.5 was out, I couldn't really stop myself to actually this time try Opus versus Gemini 3. So with just clicking on a start, you can see that on the left side we have the white color, which is Claude Opus thinking, got the first move, starting the position, and then Gemini 3 Pro is thinking, my hands are all the way up. They are providing the reasoning capabilities. They have the context of the whole game plus historical movements they have done within the given game. So they have all these reasonings over next move based on what they know so far from the game that they have been performing across each other. So you can see here, just Claude got the second move. Gemini responded. They're moving actually the pieces. There's a timer based on all chess standards. I have given them 60 minutes. But usually I have seen they finish the game less than 60 minutes. Respecting your time, given that this is going to take a little bit longer, I have already played these two models against each other over chess game. So I will show you the recording of that in action. Alright, this is the recording of the game that they played against each other. It took around 32 or 33 minutes. It was a really tough game because these two are, as of now, I'm recording the video, the most top 2 advanced reasoning models in the market. And you can see I'm not a master chess player, so I'm not really familiar with some of the terminologies in chess game. But if you are, I'm pretty sure you enjoy as you read the reasoning behind why they made each move. Here is the move names, which are the coordinates over the chess field, and then the reason behind why they're making that decision. I prompt these models to provide max 2 to 3 sentences about how they're actually performing and why they are making these decisions of the movement. That's why they are printed here. So I'll increase the speed of that a little bit so we can see more who's gonna win. And as you can see, since that game is getting longer and longer, it takes longer for them to also respond. We can consider that like human, as they are thinking more. And there you go. The game was over. Black wins, which is Gemini 3 won over Opus 4.5. And given that this was pure reasoning task, now I think that 2 or 3% difference we saw in the metrics and benchmark results over the table I showed you at the beginning of the video, published by Anthropic company, sort of makes sense. But what I have done, I have captured and recorded all these logs based on a Stockfish schema, so I could evaluate in a standard chess engine evaluation how they perform and give them a score, so you would know where they had mistakes, where they were powerful, and what's the difference between them. So let's get into the results. Through using a Stockfish chess engine, which is a standard way to evaluate chess players, I got to know what is the ELO ranking of these models when they play chess. By ELO, I mean that's a metric in chess. If you follow my screen, this is a way to actually evaluate real human chess players where they are based on their scores. For example, if you are somewhere around 2000 and 2200, you're considered as really expert. Beyond that, you are national master, senior master, and really a grandmaster. So anything beyond 2500 considered as something truly amazing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the best ever score here in ELO for a human, I think it was around 2500 or 600 or maybe 7. So somewhere close to this range. But this is the standard, one of the main standards of how we evaluate chess. That's why I captured all those logs beyond even just what I show you on the UI, to capture all the metrics that I could use to generate the evaluation for these models. Any movement they made, what was the best possible move around all the moves that they have the choice, if they did any hallucinations, they could fix themselves, how many times they failed, and here is the final results. You can see that I actually use other AI models to code for me, run the codes. I tested locally to get out all these metrics for you. Not only Gemini 3 won by this checkmate, and it played near perfect play, it got the ELO ranking of almost 2700, which is 2677. It's near grandmaster level. When I saw that, I was extremely shocked by myself, because this is not reinforcement learning. We haven't trained these models specifically for playing chess. Engines like the Stockfish, they have been trained just for the purpose of playing chess through maybe millions of times of iteration and possible path, possible chess movements. This is not the case. Gemini 3 is just the generic model, but obviously with the advanced reasoning it has, that was the outcome. So check this out. Blunders, which are the biggest mistakes in chess, Gemini did 0, Opus made 4. For mistakes, well, it made 2 mistakes, Opus, Gemini 0. And accuracy, which is how many times they failed and they hallucinated the chess, so they made maybe an illegal move, but because I was using chess engine Python class, it was fixing that and telling to the model that, hey, that's a wrong choice, try another choice. So they could retry by themselves, which dropped their accuracy based on how I captured the logs. Gemini got 97% versus Opus 78%. Check this out. Both models demonstrated excellent opening preparation. Claude Opus chose to the aggressive Sicilian front lines, while Gemini responded with the classical setup. The opening was balanced and followed grandmaster theory perfectly. So both models, they had perfect opening, because as they were playing further, the context that I was sending to the prompt was making bigger and bigger, because we had history of all the movements of that game. So as they were moving forward, they were making some mistakes, specifically Opus. So at the middle, Gemini began to outplay Claude with the superior piece coordination and technical awareness. That was the moment that Gemini took the turnover. Every move was precise, maintaining the evaluation in Gemini's favor. Claude made small inaccuracies that accumulated. I saw that at the end of the game that Claude was keep printing in the reasoning that the game is almost done. I can nothing to do. I'm just running away with my king, and there is no other strategy here. I'm just having the only option available to move that piece there. So it was sort of trying to give up, and I saw that it was telling that maybe it's better to just compromise the game and have it over. I read that actually in the reasoning, so it was pretty obvious that Gemini was really outperforming over there. And then lastly, Gemini delivered checkmate with clinical precision, demonstrating near perfect endgame technique throughput. Here's the match verdict. That this was a historic performance by Gemini 3 Pro, achieving this 2,677 ELO score with 0 blunders and only 70 average 70-point loss. That's another metric actually for evaluating chess game, is a near grandmaster level play. This represents the highest rating achieved by an AI model across all test matches. In previous video that I told you already, I tested Gemini 3 against itself, against Sonnet 4.5, against GPT 5.1, and these are really the toughest models in the market as of now I'm recording. And among all of them, Gemini had the best performance in this game, maybe because the opponent was the strongest one, so it shows much more higher level of mastery in chess within this game. So Claude Opus 4.5 rated at this elo, which is 800, played at the beginner level with 4 blunders, including devastating this that walked into a mating net. I apologize if I'm skipping some of the very professional terminology of the chess, because I haven't really played professional chess in my life, so I just want to make sure I'm not making a mistake. If I am, I apologize in advance. So the 1,865 ELO gap is the largest we have seen, demonstrating Gemini's superiority in this particular game. So this gap is about, we saw Gemini sometimes performing intermediate, sometimes master, and now close to grandmaster. That shows the capability of Gemini that can tune its reasoning based on if the opponent is very smart or not that smart, and that range of variance of reasoning that is included in Gemini 3 is really astonishing. So what made this special is Gemini found almost 80% of the best moves compared to Claude, which was 40%, and maintained 97% accuracy throughout. Every move was either the engine's top choice or within acceptable bounds. By the way, talking about engine, it's a Stockfish engine, so it was aligned with the best move within the game of theory of the game, or it was within the acceptable bounds. This level of consistency is rarely seen even in strong human players. Now, Claude struggled similar to 4.5. Opus also struggled, that showed some good opening theory but suffered from technical blind spots. The pattern of leaving pieces undefended and hallucinating non-existent threats continued across both Claude models, which is again Sonnet and Opus. So rating context, again, that was the score that Gemini got, is around approximately top 100 chess players level. This is a big deal. Above international masters, approaching grandmaster, and far superior to average club players. Again, you might challenge this score. Obviously, ELO ranking is not calculated with just one game. Maybe I need to run this 10 times or 100 times and make an average to give you the precise ELO ranking. But even just within one game, getting that score with this advanced reasoning that I logged from the app was truly stunning. Alright, that was all about this video. If you are curious to know how I created this 3D chess game, I mentioned that I vibe coded using Gemini 3 inside Google Anti-Gravity. Google Anti-Gravity is a new IDE dropped by Google that actually helps you for having agentic development. I have a dedicated video just about Google Anti-Gravity coming in soon, so stay tuned. And I would love to also welcome anyone in this video who is expert in chess and have won competitions. Come and become the new component as a human player against the winning model. Here is Gemini 3 Pro, potentially for having that in another video session. So stay tuned. If you like the video, I would appreciate that clicking a like icon, share your comments, and subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Thank you so much.